Hi, it's Daniela, and welcome to the second episode of the All That Good Stuff podcast with me, Daniela Arias. So, I went on a little bit of a hiatus, well, literally a week. I was just kind of like soaking up my last week of summer, kind of rounding all my bases before I started college, which I am now filming in my college dorm room. So, that's a change of scenery. So, today we're talking about something that I knew I wanted to talk about, but I just didn't know when. But I figured since we're starting school, it's honestly the perfect time. Imposter syndrome. So we can't talk about imposter syndrome without defining what it means at first. To me, when I think of imposter syndrome, I think it's just feelings of I can't talk. Incompetence when you're not, when you're very competent. That's what it is. It's feelings that not only you're not good enough, but you're not good enough at a certain thing. You can't do something. You're incapable of doing that certain thing. When you're incredibly capable, other people even recognize that, and you just doubt the recognition that you get. That's what imposter syndrome is. And I think I've seen it in so many facets of my own life. I've struggled with it a lot, I think, in high school especially. And I'm kind of going to go down the list of places I've seen it in my life because I think this is something I've struggled with since I was younger. So, obviously, when we're talking about imposter syndrome, I feel like the place that it shows up the most, although it sounds boring, is in academics. I I've always known I was good in school and I was smart, a smart girl, but I think I definitely downplayed it. I went to school with a bunch of smart girls. So in a sea of super smart girls, I thought I was just a regularly smart girl, a girl that could get through school, but I really did try. So it's not like I was just like, not trying and I was smart. I was trying. I put in my 100 to all my assignments, anything that came my way, or any leadership position that I had. And I still felt inadequate. I was the editor in chief of my school paper, and I still felt almost as if I kind of blended into the background because I just doubted my ability so much in writing, in talking to people, and all of those things. It's a huge issue for me in high school. And I had COVID actually the last week that I was in high school, and that's when all the events happened. So it was graduation, baccalaureate, because I went to a Catholic school. And then we had awards night. I wasn't there because I had COVID, and I was like, it's not a big deal that I'm not there. I'm not going to win anything, anyways. I swept. And I don't even say that. I say that proud because I can look back at it now and be like, okay, I was good at what I was, even though I felt like I wasn't good enough, other people recognized that I was. And that made me feel good. And as much as I like to say I don't run off of other people's validation, I think it depends who. And if it comes from a teacher or like somebody higher up, of course it's the best feeling ever. And it's like uh, I couldn't believe it. Getting these, like, they don't mean much now, but in perspective to my ego, I, it just felt amazing that people recognize my abilities when I couldn't. You'll cheer yourself on in your head when things go right. You'll say, I'm a badass, I've done this right, I've done this right, and you can acknowledge that. But if anyone else is like me, and I guarantee if you're a teen girl my age, you are, you also have the other side of you, the little angel and devil. The angel, the one that believes in yourself and you think, I am a badass, I can do this, I've done it before, I know I can, and I'm more than capable of doing this. There's also that devil on your shoulder that's telling you, you suck, you're stupid, you can't do this, you're not pretty enough, you're not skinny enough. Those sides are constantly battling. But why are you going to be your biggest hater when you're going to have people to do that already? And my mom would always tell me that. And I don't think it resonated with me until I came to college and I saw it firsthand. So that's how I kind of saw it academically in high school. And I wanted to make that brief because it's there's bigger parts of life where I think imposter syndrome show up full fledged. And I think it's in academics, but I also think that can be easily validated. But there's other things that can't be nearly as easily validated. And I would say, honestly, maybe career wise. Maybe I'm pretty young to be talking about career, but I am trying my best to take strides to kind of set myself up or make a name for myself in some sort of career. I want to do that. That's what everyone wants. Everyone wants a legacy. And you can't have a legacy if you're constantly doubting yourself. That's not how people make legacies. Like, they make them from not only believing themselves, but pushing that doubt aside. That's what you have to do. And I might sound like a motivational speaker, but I'm saying this partially to you and partially to myself because I need to hear this when I'm starting school because there's so many scenarios that will make you doubt yourself and make you think that you're not good enough. And career wise, I'm lucky to say that that hasn't been an area for me, but I still struggle with it. I currently work on my school's newspaper. I love it. I got promoted, which was something that was great because I figured because I was young, a sophomore, going into my sophomore year, they couldn't promote people like that. And also, I knew I was good at what I do. I copy at it. But I always thought in the back of my head, am I that good? Or do I just think I'm good? Am I really that good? Maybe people don't think that I'm that good. Maybe I'm too slow. Maybe this, maybe that. Always, even in a good scenario, I get promoted and I get scared. I get happy because it's validation. Promotions are the way your employer's way of telling you you're doing a great job. We want you to have more of a role in our organization, in our company, and whatever it is. And that's what I was given. I was given literal validation, given it. The first thing that filled my head was, oh, are you sure you can do it? Are you sure? How unfortunate is that? To take a good moment and soil it with all these feelings of self doubt and feeling like you're an imposter, like you were put there, but you didn't deserve it. When you know, I know deep down that I did. I worked my ass off. I stayed later sometimes and I loved doing it, so it didn't feel like work. But in my head, I should take those things into mind and say, oh shit, of course I'm qualified. Of course I'm this. Of course I'm that. But instead, I just jump to everything else otherwise. And I think everyone does that. And it's hard. It's literally the hardest thing. Like I said, honestly, my biggest struggle in life. And it not only translates from academics or career wise, things that are more serious, but it's self image. I grew up being chubby. I was a chubby kid, like as most of us are. You grow up chubby, your friends and your family, or not your friends, your family have they have cute little names for you because you're chubby and it's funny and it doesn't fully get to you because you're little and like you don't care what you eat, you don't care about any of that. But once you get older and that chubbiness kind of follows you, that baby fat, it takes a toll on you. There's never been a time in my life where I felt so 100% secure and happy in my body. And that's unfortunate because, okay, there's this TikTok sound and it's an older lady. I don't know. I think she's an actress or something. She's doing a speech, and she's like, "You don't know how lucky you are to look the way you look or sound the way you sound," something like that at your age. Especially going to body image, we always find ourselves saying, "I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I'm skinny. I'll be happy when I'm 5 pounds less. I'll be happy when I'm toned. I'll be happy when I get an ass." But like when you're so worried and consumed about "I'll be happy when do you have time to be happy?" And I thought about that. And like I said, this is not only a question that I'm asking you, but it's one that I'm asking myself. If I dwell on these things so much of when I'll be happy, when do you have that time to be happy? There's no other time like when you are in college. You're never going to be in this scenario again if you're in college like I am. So if you keep saying, I'm going to be happy when, I'm going to be happy when, college ends in 4 years. Are you going to be happy before those 4 years? Is that going to be feasible? And if the answer is no, then I think that really needs to be reevaluated and looked at. Like I said, I've always struggled with my body, and now an added thing to that is struggling with my skin. I, from this part here, great. This part here, bad. I started tretinoin and I went to the doctor to see it, and it's truly just like taking a hit to my face. But I'm not going to stop going out and I'm not going to stop doing things because I'm going to say, I'll be happy when, or I'll start having fun when I feel totally confident and I don't have acne. Things don't happen overnight. And I can't let my happiness be influenced by material factors. It's bad to do, it's negative, and it's going to leave you waiting for so long. Because, I mean, it just is, unless it's totally in your control. But certain things like that take time. And if you're waiting for those certain things to come in order to be happy, then your happiness is going to take time. And why be miserable in the meantime? Why? When there's no point. When you can just be at peace and fulfilled. And I think that also kind of goes into relationships. I had this written down too. I think those issues with self image and feeling like, I guess, an imposter, like not recognizing that your body's great, your skin is good. You can cover any of those imperfections with makeup. You're okay. You're fine. No one realizes those things or nitpicks those things more than you do. No one cares more than you do. That's what it is. And even though you think somebody cares, oh my God, they're going to realize my acne. Oh my God, they're going to see my fupa. Oh my God, they're going to see my cellulite. No, because people are too consumed with how they look, how their cellulite is, how their fupa is, how their acne looks, that they're not noticing yours. And that sounds like a horrible way to think about it, but like we're all the same at the end of the day. I think it's impossible to be 100% secure with yourself, and it's also impossible to be 100% insecure. You're going to have those certain things about yourself that you love, and you're going to have those certain things about yourself that you hate. So that splits it in half. Half security and half insecurity. But those moments of insecurity or those areas of insecurity shouldn't be allowed to kind of take charge over your life and over how you determine and make decisions. Because nothing good is going to come out of an insecure decision or an insecure mindset. I think I've realized that more now because of stuff that's happened with guys. And like I said, I think self image and feeling like you're an imposter in your own body or skin or anything connects directly to relationships, because if you're insecure in a relationship, or if you're insecure in general and you get with a guy or you're seeing a guy or you're seeing a girl or whoever, in a way, I think they can sense that. And I'm not saying everybody is super calculated, but it's easier to know when somebody's easier to take advantage of. And I don't mean physically, I don't mean in that way, but just emotionally or ghosting wise. I think with guys, the guys that I've welcomed into my life are a direct reflection of how I'm not totally secure with myself and what I want. Because if I knew exactly what I wanted, I would have ended up with getting with or talking to any of those guys. That's something I can tell you for sure. I just wouldn't. If somebody's totally secure with themselves, they're going to be totally secure with the boundaries they set, and they're going to be totally secure with the standards they have. And oh, I hope I'm not totally secure with the standards that I have, because if those are my standards, I'm worried. But I know I'm not. I know those guys were like a product of not desperation or thirstiness, but me letting those like thoughts of insecurity kind of overtake my brain and thinking, hey, I met this guy and I don't know, I feel like there's just not a lot of guys to date, or the dating scene's bad, or like they all have girlfriends, or they won't like me. So like essentially let me just settle. That's pretty much what I think I've told myself subconsciously. Like these guys are never my type. Sometimes they're nice at first, then they'll act like kind of like a dick. But it's essentially just you settling if you have that mindset. And that's like a direct root of being insecure. Security attracts security. That's what I think. And also, if you're secure, you're not going to let people in that you can, not friend wise, relationship wise. You won't be so quick to let somebody into your life or to invest so much time into someone when you know that deep down they're insecure, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they're insecure to the point where they will let that insecurity screw you over, and they'll do something wrong to you because they're not secure in their masculinity or their ability to commit, or just like how they are as a person. If a guy's insecure with himself, he'll try and find solace in so many girls. That's what I think. Because if a guy is secure with himself, I mean, I think either they're okay not having a girlfriend, or they will be upfront with what they want. And it all goes back to imposter syndrome. I don't think I connected it to all those things before. I thought it was just like more of a self-image thing and more of an issue with how I perceive myself, my intelligence, or how I perceive my capabilities to get a job or do well in school. But seeing how it translates into all these other facets of life is actually crazy. Because once you see that, I think it kind of makes you think. I don't want to be stuck in this mindset where I kind of always feel like I'm trying to catch up to someone or I'm never going to be quite good enough. So let me just always pretend that I'm good enough and eventually you'll believe it. Fake it till you make it. That's what it is. And I've learned to do that in some parts of my life, but in others, not so much. I don't know. I saw this thing also on TikTok and it's talking about how time is a thief. And I'm very big into that sort of mantra. Time is a thief. It's a huge, unforgiving thief that doesn't care when you'll die. It doesn't care when you're going through something badly and you need time to heal. It doesn't care about any of those things because it's just time. It's just a thing. But because time is a thief and you have, we don't know, however amount of time here, I think it's so important to make the most out of it and stop dwelling on all your shortcomings. Because if you spend every day at least a few times a day dwelling on how my body doesn't look like hers, my GPA isn't like theirs, my job will never get to their status, I'll never have a boyfriend like that, then you probably have spent more time by the time you die thinking that way than thinking, I love my body. I can totally have this great person and partner in my life, but I might have to wait because people aren't at the same maturity right now. Or I have such a badass GPA and it's only going to go up from here. Or I have so many career opportunities at my fingertips and they're going to come to me because I'm proving myself day after day. You, I think it's just not often that you hear people telling themselves that and you hear them beating themselves up more. All I know for myself is I would hate to be on my deathbed and the last thought I have is like, oh my God, I spent my life thinking about how I sucked in all these ways and I never realized how great I was. And now somebody's gonna write my obituary and talk about how great I was. But what point is that to me when I'm dead? That's so like very extreme, but it's true. Who wants to live like that? No one. And I think we all inevitably kind of fall into that loop of living that way where we don't even realize it. We don't even realize when we're beating ourselves up because we kind of just like laugh about it, laugh it off, play it off as not self destruction, self deprecation. It's funny. It's funny to make fun of yourself. It's funny to say you can't do this. It's funny to say you can't do that. But at a point, it becomes not funny and it starts actually hurting yourself. And I think there's certain times where I have gotten to that point. And if you're going to get hurt, why have it be self inflicted? If you're going to let yourself feel pain or feel hurt, at least have it be from the hands of someone else where you can't control it. Yeah, that was a pretty short episode, but I just wanted to get back into the swing of things. And I think this is important. If you have imposter syndrome, everyone does. Don't think you're alone. And just know that you're the opposite of everything you tell yourself. You are not. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Like if you say you're ugly, you're beautiful, it's usually never true. You're just your biggest critic. And everyone's your biggest critic. But let somebody else do that job. And you do you. Thank you so much for watching this. And I cannot wait to see you next week, hopefully. Bye.